You're good for the whole 90 minutes,
You
yeah?
can unplug it.
Yep. Thank you. Your light's on, your light's on.
My light's on?
Your light's on, Ruben?
Ken's isn't.
Ken's, is it?
I don't see it. There it is.
All right.
Ken, you gotta be smarter than Mike.
My light's been on for days. The batteries wore out.
My light's on, but nobody's home.
We got 3 minutes yet, or do you want to start? We have 3 minutes yet, or do you want to start?
I think we have to wait because
I think we
once
should
the
wait.
charter will start broadcasting.
Okay.
But he ended up having to come up. Actually, that clock's a little behind. You might want to look at yours.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes.
South Dakota time.
Yeah, we're hoping, right?
Almost feel like a caged animal.
I know.
There's so much space over there. Do you want?
I suppose he could. Ken, do you want to move over that way?
I think it'd be a good idea, Ken.
Do I want to?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Is that a question? I only got 7 more questions to go, right?
That was the easiest one. It might be better just to...
Yeah, his speaker won't go that far over.
How about right here? A little bit closer. I guess you can't sit that close to
You can
Ruben.
have mine, Ken.
Can't get that close to Ruben, huh?
I guess.
I got a long reach if you want to hold hands still.
We better pass on that one.
All right.
1 minute.
You have a go card or?
No, you
Oh.
get your go from Tom. He tells you to go.
All right.
I only get stopped. I'm going to throw Pierre's hat at him. I have 6 o'clock.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City Council Candidates Forum and Debate. My name is Tom Moran. I'm the Vice Chair of the EDA Board, and this is the 3rd time I've hosted or served as moderator for this event. Tonight we have 6 City Council candidates that are going to be answering a variety of questions so that we get to know them better. And tonight we had 3 candidates that were not able to attend. Seth Schmidt, Kutau, and Dave Teagues all had previous commitments that did not allow them to be here this evening. So we're going to start right away with some introductions. And so all of you filled out a questionnaire which was shown in the paper, got a chance to read some of your comments. So I think everybody that's read the paper has a general idea of who you are, but I would like you to introduce yourself for those that don't know you, and I would like you to tell us what past experiences you've had that you feel would help you as a city council member. And Ron, you get to go first.
My name is Ron Koopman. I grew up in Pipestone, Minnesota, attended high school there. I attended business college in Minneapolis. I went in the Army. After the Army, I went to work graduated from Southwest State with a bachelor's degree in education. After that, I joined I was hired by the USA Today, Argus Leader USA Today newspaper, where I retired after 30 years. Married. Audrey and I have been married for 55 years. We have a boy and a girl, and that's about it.
Okay, so are there past experiences you feel would help you as a city council member?
Probably the education, the teaching experience, also the newspaper experience, business. I was in sales management. So with those backgrounds, I feel that I am qualified.
Okay, thank you. Rhonda, same question for you. Please introduce yourself and tell us what past experiences you've had that you feel would help you as a city council member.
Well, I'm Rhonda Fredericks, and I graduated from Tracy High School. I've lived in Tracy most of my life, and I've worked in several businesses around town. I've been very active in the community by being on the Planning Commission, the Charter Commission, the HRA board. I'm on National Night Out. I have also been on the Tracy Active Living and also Prairie Women's Expo. So I've been pretty busy that way.
Okay. Rosemary, your turn.
I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. I am a retired nurse and I retain my license. My husband and I own a business here in Tracy, Minnesota, for which I am the property manager of both of those businesses. My experience as a registered nurse, which was the last 20 years of my nursing career of 50 years, was mostly supervisory positions that equipped me to be in a leadership role. Also, I have served on the Planning and Zoning, the Charter Commission, the Police Commission, the Liquor Store Committee, and many other boards and commissions in my lifetime. I can bring that experience to a council position.
Okay, thank you. George.
Hi, I'm George Landit. Been living in Tracy for 10 years. I grew up in Walnut Grove. We've been married to my wife Chris for 47 years, have 2 children. One son is on the farm. I'm lucky enough he lets me come out and help him yet. 10 years ago, I came with pancreatic cancer and I beat that. So I'm pretty lucky there, I think. Our daughter lives out in the state of Washington. Farmed for 43 years, I guess. I've not been on many boards. I was on the EDA board for a short time until I was appointed to the council. Then I had to step down from there because there already was 2 council people on the board. I got somewhat active with the city government when all the stuff was going on in town here that I thought probably shouldn't have been. Whatever, I guess it ended up. So that's why I've been interested in trying to help out the city of Tracy.
Okay, thank you. Ruben.
I'm Ruben Sunheim. I've been in town for it'll be 5 years in April. I'm just basically a average citizen here realistically. I work in construction. I drive a concrete mixer. And I don't actually have any experience as to why you should vote for me. But I'll tell you what, I'd like to be your voice, everybody's voice. Well, if they're too afraid to ask a question, or if they just don't feel that they have the right to ask that question, I'd gladly go ahead and take those questions to the board if put on it at all, period. And I would like to have your voices heard. Too many times, a lot of the small guys get overlooked. And I don't want that to be part of anything that I serve on. I'd like to be a voice for the small guy. Remember, bad citizens make worse elected officials. I'm just an average citizen. We've had a black eye brought to Tracy here before, and we need to take the time since that black eye and continue forward with both eyes open now, looking to heal for the future and to continue to build Tracy and make it great again like it was before that black eye.
Okay, thank you. Ken, your turn.
My name is Ken Witt. I was on a farm between Grand Forks and Thief River Falls as I grew up. So I'm a farm boy at heart. And I graduated from high school from Thief River Falls. Went to college in Bemidji, got my teaching license from Bemidji State. And I came to Tracy in 1968, 2 months after the tornado came through. So when I drove into town, I wondered, what is this? I was in Tracy for 39 years as a teacher, and I've been in construction for quite some time as well, bending a few nails. And then they got me to go to Lakeview School District because they needed somebody over there, and then they wouldn't let me quit. So I stayed there for 9 years. So been in teaching for quite a few years, and I was Teacher Association president for some time, and so I believe that I've been in a leadership role for some time in the teacher group. So I guess I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you very much. Okay, on to question 2, and Rhonda, you get to answer this one first.
Okay.
It is often said that people only run for office because they have an axe to grind. Some of you, rightly or wrongly, in the eyes of the public, have been linked to specific issues in the past. So, just to clear things up, what is your number one issue? What is your number one priority for the city council, for the city, in the next year?
Well, to keep moving forward in a positive direction, because to listen to what people have to say. To keep moving forward, and I don't know. I'm sorry, I just drew a blank.
Okay. Would you like me to come back to you?
In a little bit, maybe.
All right. Rosemary, same question for you.
I do not have a specific axe to grind, but I do have been on enough boards to be part of the progress of moving the city forward, as well as in our businesses. We've invested greatly in the city. I'm ready to work with the EDA. I am ready to see through this form-based zoning that our new administrators brought to us. I think that can change our city. I'm hoping that I bring to this a leadership role and an approachability that people can approach me. And I think everybody has agendas. You have to put those agendas aside to be able to serve, and you have to serve the people. So that is what I would do.
Okay, thank you. George.
What was the question again?
The question is...
You got me so nervous I can't remember.
All right, let me read the question again. It is often said that people only run for public office because they have an axe to grind. Some of you, rightly or wrongly, in the eyes of the public, have been linked to specific issues. So, what's your number one issue? In other words, what's your personal priority for the city in the coming year?
Well, what started me coming was some of the street projects and stuff. I've been around long enough, I understand that, so I was hoping I could bring a little experience in that area. I have no axe to grind. I think everybody's been doing the best they can up here on the council. I guess that's pretty much the story. I just would like to help serve the city of Tracy and help things moving in the direction. I do think we need some more housing. I don't know how to get that going, but working on it. I'm new at this city government stuff. I've been self-employed forever, so I'm learning fast how government works. Sometimes it's slower than what I care, but I'm here to try to help if anybody has anything, and quite a few people have called me in the past. They still can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ruben.
I've only been here 5 years. I haven't been here long enough to get an axe. So the only thing, honestly, that I'd be looking at if I got in the first year, nothing can happen overnight. I've understood that, but I'd like to have a fiscal responsibility to have happen. I'd like to not cut corners, but I'd like to cut some cost in the taxpayers' dollars and where they're spent and why, whether it's $3,000 or whether it's $5,400 over the course of a year or 2 years. Stuff like that. It might be a drop in the bucket to some, but honestly, that's your money.
Okay, thank you. Ken?
I also have no axe to grind. A lot of people asked me to jump in the race, and I eventually did. I drug my heels for quite a while, but I think I can help out. I can use a lot of my science background to help with various engineering projects, infrastructure, flood diversion, whatever the case is. I've been involved with a lot of teamwork in the school situation, and I think that a lot of teamwork on the council is important to get tasks done. I believe I'm pretty familiar with setting objectives and goals and things of that nature, and I think maybe the city could benefit from establishing some of those things to work toward a specific objective. I think would be helpful, and so I think I can help, and I guess that's why I'm running.
Okay.
No axe here either. I do believe that we're moving in the right direction. We have a very good city crew. City Hall, I think we're going in the right direction. We've got a city administrator that's going to help us there. We need to work together and be proud of our city. I believe the ordinances that we do have should be enforced. I do have some things on my radar. The blight system here in town, also 55 plus housing. I'd like to see things happen there. That's about it that I can think of right now, Tom.
Okay. Did you want to add something?
Just that I don't have an axe to grind, but I do, and I was asked to run because there are several people out in the community that feel that their voices aren't heard, and maybe I can be their voice. And as far as I just have a small pet peeve. I never miss a council meeting, very seldom ever do I. I watch it at home. And I think part of it is that I hear, every once in a while, I hear the council or whoever go, the good people. Drives me crazy. Who are the good people? It's everybody that lives here in Tracy.
Okay, thank you. Question 3, and Rosemary, we're going to start with you. And 4 years ago, you'll probably remember, we went through this and I asked this very same question. Name a recent city council decision that you agree with or disagree with, and tell us why.
Well, I agree with the city council decision to hire Eric. I think that was a very smart thing to do. And at first I wondered, he's a totally different personality than Chris is, and I got along really great with Chris, but I see his vision and I totally support their hiring him.
Okay.
Another decision that they've made was to keep approving of the updates that the Charter Commission has put forward, because we've worked hard on those updates, and our last one is finally going before the council on Monday. I can't think of anything I haven't really supported, because I believe you can't make a decision that everybody's going to like. You can only make the best decision. I believe our council has done that.
Okay. George, is there a city council decision that you agree with or disagree with, and tell me why?
Not really. I guess sometimes I wondered if I have thick enough skin for this job, but because when I'm out at the farm, the cattle don't really care what I say or think, as long as I feed them. But in here, there's tough decisions, and I've only been on the council a short time, and a couple of them have come through, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but I don't know if I could say they're right either, but they're done and have to stick with it, and I'm good with that. So I have nothing I want to fix, nothing I want to change. Just keep doing what I can to help out.
Okay. Ruben, same question to you. Name a recent city council decision you agree with or disagree with, and tell us why.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Ken?
I believe that the housing situation was an excellent decision for the council to make, and to move ahead with new housing in town is really important. And I also feel it's important to do something with other economic development as well. I know the city is in crunch time for money. I understand all that, and so we have to be careful about where all the budgets are going. But improving the tax base, getting more people into town, is really an important thing for me. And so I think the decision to move ahead by the city council to get things moving was an excellent thing to do.
Okay. Ken? No, I'm sorry. Ron?
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I was going to have Ken go again there, yeah.
Some of the good things I see that has happened that I agreed with was the twin homes at Broad Acres. Moving forward with the 55-plus housing, I'd like to see patio homes. Something happened to our trailer park. One of the things I disagreed with, I disagreed on a 7-man council. I think 5 was plenty. I look at the other cities around us, Marshall 5, Pipestone 5, Worthington 5. I'm wondering why we're setting with 7. It costs us $5,400 to have a 7-man council per year. That doesn't sound like much, but add that times 20 years and see what you come up with. So that was one of my pet peeves. Other than that, I think the council did a very good job, and like I said before, we're moving forward, and we got to continue to progress in that manner.
Okay, thank you. Rhonda?
I agree with like the rest of them. The housing out in Broad Acres that was started, that was a good decision, and we just need to keep moving forward with figuring out the housing and maybe like turning some of the apartment, like in the businesses, maybe like apartments downtown that people could use. But I think they've done a good job as far as the EDA with the housing that way.
Okay. So I'm going to paraphrase this next question a little bit, and it's going to come from collectively your interview with the paper. And so I felt if I was going to take a question from the paper and smash it together, this would be the question. What is more important for our city right now, building new homes in commercial space or rehabbing, expanding, and better utilizing our existing homes and storefronts? And there was multiple opinions amongst the group as to which was the best way to go. And we've talked a lot about, we're not going to talk about housing right now, we'll talk about commercial space. There's been talk of we need business downtown, we need business to come in. So I'm going to ask you, what type of business is needed in the downtown area, and what business is missing from our community? And George, you get to go first.
Way to go, Tom.
Luck of the draw, my friend. Yeah.
Of all the questions, I guess I really don't know that I would have an answer for that. It's good to have businesses come to town, but most small towns are losing their downtowns. So how to revitalize that, I really don't have a good answer, I guess, for that. If a business would come to town, try to welcome it with open arms and see what the city could do to help them to get to town and be prosperous. is about all I would have for that, I guess.
Okay, so you don't have a specific business model in mind that you think the city needs?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Ruben, same question to you.
I'm going to go with we should probably try to rebuild more downtown instead of expanding elsewhere. Whether it be rezoning possibly some of the commercial space to a possibility of a residential space to be used as some possible apartments. That would be something that needs to be decided before it's done, though. I also believe that we need to have maybe more events in town that could attract the possibility of having a business come to downtown. It's hard to, like he had said as well, it's hard for small communities to actually grow anymore at this point. Everybody's driving 90 to 100 miles without thinking about it. Years ago when these towns popped up 5 to 10 miles away, that's all people traveled, instead of the 90 to 100 miles to go to their stores to get their supplies for whatever. So we need to start thinking more of how to reuse and repurpose what we have in order to keep the growth going instead of expanding.
Okay. Ken?
I'm not sure that I've researched that topic well enough to give you an actual this or that. I think both of them are important, but as to which one is more important than the other one, that's a tough call. You know, we can put up a spec building, for example, in the industrial park. But who would fill it? You know, what kind of business would come in? On the other hand, they're not going to come if there isn't some place for them to go. And so it's really a tough call. But you have to have something for businesses to start up in. There are some buildings in town that are really in tough shape and maybe aren't worth refurbishing, whereas others maybe they can still be saved. So I don't really have any this or that on that one. I guess I would be open to looking at. I'd be open-minded to both of them and look at the issues involved and talking to some people about what's possible to bring in. I know mom and pop stores are probably not going to be very common anymore, but a photography shop, for example, would be quite a bit different than a manufacturing building. So we need to look at all the issues, I think.
All right, thank you.
I think what we need to do first is to work with the businesses we do have. Look at the stores downtown. Are they worthwhile fixing up? And then with our ADA director, start advertising, start marketing the downtown area. Where this would go, I don't know. I mean, I just, at this point in time, I think we need to work with what we've got here first and then go from there. I'd like to see another station in town, another convenience store. I'd like to see possibly a possibility of looking at a motel, hotel, or what do you want to call it. But I think before we get to that point, we need to work with the merchants we have, see their needs, and go from there.
Okay, thank you. Rhonda?
I would be open to I don't have any one business in mind, but if a business wants to come here, we need to take a look at what we have to offer them as far as buildings and maybe offer them some help in some way to remodel a building. It's a hard call to decide what to do for sure until we're actually there with it.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
Nope.
No? Rosemary?
I think we have to look at downtown and renovating our buildings, looking outside the box. My husband and I did that when we looked at a building that was more or less slated to be torn down. We totally rebuilt that into a building that now has 2 families in it, 2 more water meters, and a solid tax base for the city. If we look at that model and promote that model after we adopt a form-based zoning, we can attract younger couples that would come to town that would want to do the little mom and pop thing, but also have a place to live because they only have one mortgage to service and they can work on fixing that building up. And speaking with the EDA director, he states that would increase his ability to bring those kinds of businesses to town. With that said, we really need to look into that because when we have to tear a building down, I mean, just the last bid for a building was $175,000. We can't afford to do that. We need to find a way to make that work. Also, while that's going on, if we've got a chance to expand, like what has been going on in Broadacres, we need to continue to do that.
Okay. We're going to switch gears a little bit to a suddenly hot topic in the community. The senior community is very concerned about the possible sale of the multipurpose center. While these discussions are very preliminary, what would you like to see happen as the city moves forward on this? And Ruben, we could start with you.
They need a place to go, and that needs to be figured out before you even consider selling their building. They need to have their situation of where they can go to gather for their meals on wheels and so forth and whatnot set up before you even think about telling them to go. That's what I got.
Okay. Ken.
Well, I frequented the senior center often, so I guess I'm one of the seniors. I don't exactly know how it got to be such a hot topic, other than the fact that I think all the, from what I've been able to understand, the council members, EDA director, anybody in town probably understands or almost promised that the seniors would be taken care of. So it's not like they don't have a place to go any place. But it's important for seniors to get together. That's an important thing. To socialize, sometimes that's about the only thing that keeps some seniors going. And so it's an important thing for seniors to get together. But finding another place in town is not going to be easy. Some place maybe have to be renovated, whether it's on top of the police station or whether it's somewhere in Park Place or a church, or there's different possibilities in town. Building a new building is probably out of the question, although a community center like Walnut Grove is really a nice deal for the town, and it would be really nice to have something like, because a lot of different kinds of buildings could be in the same building, but it's probably not going to happen. So I think seniors will be taken care of. So I'm not really worried about that.
Okay. Ron.
I think we need a senior center. I hear a lot about the swimming pool, the senior center. It doesn't make us any money, but it's a good amenity that we need in town. You look at, as Ken said, Walnut Grove, Tyler, even towns like Trotsky, Minnesota, Ward, South Dakota, they got nice senior centers. Ken mentioned about the vet center there. I heard the story of an elevator, and I'm thinking, wow, if we're going to spend that kind of money, you got to maintain it. And Murphy's Law said if something can go wrong, it will. So I think we can do better than that. I think we need to look into, even if we have to do fundraisers, A senior center will not make this city money. It's point blank. It's like the swimming pool. It doesn't make us money, but we need it here. We need it to sell this city. So, yes, we need a senior center.
Okay. Rhonda?
Yes, we need a seniors place for the seniors to go, and as long as they make sure that they have a place for them, that we can just keep moving forward.
Okay. Rosemary?
Okay. The multi-purpose center, Meals on Wheels is a titled program, so if it doesn't take place in the multi-purpose center, it will take place someplace in town. Because I've worked with these programs for 30 years. If they don't have a place to prepare it there, if they run out of options, they will contract with somebody to find a place to deliver Meals on Wheels to people in town, and they are still functioning as Meals on Wheels. When Eric and Jeff tell us they will work relentlessly, they tell us relentlessly they're going to find a place for the seniors. I think you can take that to the bank. But the important thing here is when our council is taking a building that is a liability to the city and putting it back into the tax base, that's a very important thing we need to support. And with that said, the other amenities are being taken care of at the same time. With COVID, seniors aren't be able to gather right now, so we have some time and space to work that out.
Okay. Ken, this question is going to go to you, since you were in the construction trade. Okay?
George didn't get
I'm sorry, George.
I don't know that I have a lot more to add than what Rosemary did. I do believe a lot of rumors got out on this senior center, and it went south fast, where people just didn't understand what's happening. As sitting on the council, they are very concerned, and I'm sure it won't fall apart. There will be a good place for the seniors to go to. Exactly where isn't 100% cut in stone, but working hard to come up with a good place. And that's very functional for them. We do, like Rosemary said, we're going to have time. The last I heard it would be June or July before we can start gathering at senior centers again. If that's true, we got a lot of time. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, because I know people like to get out and visit and play cards and do things. The Meals on Wheels will still be there for everybody, no doubt about it. So I think we just need to calm down on the issue a little bit, let things come together, and it'll all work out just fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Now we go to Ken. And obviously, you've got some background in this. There's been a mention of the need for affordable housing. 55-plus housing, I think, was the term, as a major need for our community. How would you propose going about this? And is it the role of city government to develop and own housing? So you got two questions.
That's a good question. Obviously, if it's possible, a better thing is to do it through private enterprise. I mean, if you have to choose between private enterprise and government on a thing like housing, you have to go with private enterprise. So that's a better way. And if there's donors who would like to put up spec houses or contractors that would like to do spec houses, that's obviously a better way to go. However, if you don't have all that going for you, sometimes government has to help out. And sometimes government has to get the show rolling at least. And in this regard, maybe it's okay for government to do that. But obviously, the private way is a much better way if you can do that.
Okay. Ron.
Tom, run that by me again.
Okay, several of you have mentioned, through the paper and talking tonight that we need some affordable housing in the community, and that should be a major emphasis. How do you propose that we go about doing this? And is it the role of city government to develop and own housing?
Well, first of all, I don't believe the government should be in real estate. That's my personal opinion. I think you need to look for developers, and this is where your ADA comes in again. You need to look for developers and people that want to invest. I feel here in Tracy we have plenty of places to expand, put in housing, whether it's twin homes, patio homes, or whatever, instead of looking for other areas that we want to invest in. So I'm against the city purchasing land and putting up buildings and hopefully try and fill them. I'm not for that.
Okay. Rhonda.
Well, I don't think the city should be involved in buying a lot of the land for these. It should be done privately or like with developers and that. It's just not a good thing for the city to be owning a lot of land.
Okay. Rosemary.
Okay, for housing, we need to seek out grant programs that are not, that are income-based and not confined to a certain area. Right now, we have certain grant programs, but they're only in certain blocks. And as time goes on, I believe that those will start to show up more. We need to continue housing projects on all spectrums, like what's going on in Broad Acres, but I think that when the city invested in Orchard Lane, that was a good investment because it provided a service. And we'll be able to sell that at some point, put that money back into our tax base. We need to continue to seek out state and federal programs to help us help people improve what they have, and continue to look at things like the EDA had looked at 2 years ago with the affordable homes that people could own that had 3-4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage on smaller plots of land. We need to look at all those kinds of things to be able to offer affordable housing to our residents.
Okay.
But help the people that are here already that need help to improve what they have also.
Okay, thank you. George.
I agree with most of it. I do not believe the city should really develop homes. But I do think the city, to get a developer to come, is going to need to have the infrastructure done for them. A developer's not going to come and do all the infrastructure and everything it takes, plus build the home. So the city needs to step forward, make the infrastructure out there. And I'm not saying in a big way, but they did that on one part of town, about by the hospital there. They built the street and the homes were built and it turned out quite well. So things like that need to be started by the city and then let the individuals or the developers come in and build what they feel needed for the public.
Okay.
So that's my take on it, I guess. We can't leave it all on the developer.
Okay, thank you. Ruben.
I believe in smaller government, period, whether it's small town or whether it's big. I don't think the city or any government itself, honestly, should go ahead and own land or buy land at a higher price and then try to sell it to make it affordable for anybody. Because one, they're losing money on that if they do. Two, you can't honestly invest and then later sell at a rate of any sort without actually making it unaffordable for the future consumer. If you want to go ahead and have something developed, I believe that we should have private come in and they can buy the land first and so forth and then say this is what we'd like to do. If the city needs to go ahead and put in streets and so forth from there on or help fund with part of that, yes. But it should be all private sales. Government should stay out of it.
Okay, thank you. So Ron, we're going to go back to you. And as you know, national, state, and local politics is more divisive than ever. In the last 2 years, the city's faced its own political issues that have divided the community and in times divided the council. With the election of a larger city council, the chances of a polarized city council with competing agendas goes up. How will you handle this potential issue?
I'm not sure, Tom. I don't even know where to start answering that.
Okay, would you like me to come back to you? Rhonda?
Well, say that again.
Okay, just to get it briefer here, with the election of a larger city council, the chances of a polarized city council with competing agendas goes up as well. As you know, we've had some issues that have polarized the city council recently. How would you handle this potential issue?
That is a tough one. I think it'll be good in some ways because there can be more discussion. There can be more ideas, and maybe with more ideas, we can, even though we'll probably disagree on a lot of it, you can still sit and talk about it and maybe come to a good decision for everybody that's involved.
Okay, thank you. Rosemary?
The reason the council was expanded is because it was the consensus of first the commission and secondly the citizens that a smaller council was polarized and was not diverse enough to represent the citizens. And so therefore they went to a vote of the citizens, and the citizens increased the size of the council for that reason. I believe with more diversity, more opportunity to discuss the issues, there would be less polarization and more forward motion.
Okay. You're up.
Thanks, Tom. I guess the council makes some, I've found out anyway, that they make some very tough decisions sometimes. Whether there's 5 or 7, I don't think that'll make them any easier. One thing I do know, once the decision is made by the council, the whole council has to get on board with it, or it's going to fail. So how many ever people are sitting here, once the decision is made, the council's going to have to get on board with it and go with it and keep it in a positive motion. So I don't know if that answered the question very good or not, but that's my opinion. We need to stay our peace, but when it's decided, work with it.
Okay, thank you. Ruben?
I believe that you can have way too many chiefs and not enough Indians going, that's for sure. And that doesn't do anything good for anybody. You get more voices heard, but more voices are more problems. Too many cooks in the kitchen ruin a good stew. Let's go ahead and say that if it came down to it, and let's say I was on it, how I'd handle it is I believe that these 2 seats added to it are for a 2-year term. Let them run for 2 years. Put it up to vote again after that and see if maybe they are effective or if they need to be eliminated. There are several things in government that we do need to eliminate, no matter what it is, to make it more cost effective and realistic. There is no other city of this size in the state of Minnesota that has 7 city council members on it. Two-year term, I believe we should put on that. And then how I'd handle it, like I said over here, was you can battle all you want up until that decision's made. When the decision's made, yes, absolutely, fall in line and support it. That's what you do for your community.
Okay, thank you.
I guess one of the things that council people ought to do is present facts after some research as much as possible. If you get too far out on the opinion thing, you can probably start heading in the wrong direction. But when you present something, it shouldn't be personally attacking anybody else. You treat other people's ideas with respect. They're trying to do the best they can, or you have to believe that they are. And like I think it was Rosemary indicated, with more people, you're probably going to have more ideas, and hopefully there's more good ideas. And after a discussion is made, then you'll go with it. A 180-degree thing from this is there are some councils that have no divisiveness at all. And basically what happens is they rubber stamp everything. There's virtually no discussion, and everything just sort of runs through, and it looks great on TV, but it's not real great for the residents of the city, because there should be a discussion of the issues in a healthful manner, in a respectful manner.
Okay, thank you. Ron, back to you.
Well, to me, you can't continue to flip-flop back and forth. If you're going to be a seven-man council, be a seven-man council. You're going to be five, but you can't say, today I'm going to be seven, tomorrow I'm going to be five. As far as the number on the council, a five-man council can make just as many decisions, good decisions, as a seven-man council. I just don't see the purpose of having two extra people involved on that council, and that's my honest opinion. And I think I talked about this earlier.
Yep. So again, the question was, how do you handle divisiveness within the council?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not
Okay.
sure how you would.
I'll take it at that. Yep. All right, thank you. Rhonda, I'm going to go back to you. Do city council members have a role to play in the community outside of council business? And the reason I ask is there have been several unfounded rumors and misinformation that always get spread within the community on any particular topic, because opinions spread faster than facts. As a council member, do you have a role in addressing these rumors?
Yes, you do. You owe it to find out before you go and find out what's really going on, and you need to play a role in the community as far as different events and stuff. You need to go and find out what's going on in those different events. You need to be a part of it if you're going to be on the council.
Okay. Rosemary, again, the question is, does a city council member have a role to play in the community outside of council business? And how should a council member address rumors?
First off, when you're on the planning and zoning, when you're out in the community, even though you're grocery shopping, you're still representing the planning and zoning commission. You need to behave that way. You're on the, whatever board you are on, you inadvertently represent, like it or not. So you need to think about that in the way that you represent yourself in the community. As far as rumors go, how do you handle rumors? And you, if it's something that is directly affects the business of the council, then it should be addressed. But a rumor is a rumor. I don't know that would be part of council business, is to discuss what rumors are going about the community.
Okay.
But remember that you're an example when you're in the community, and act that way and be approachable that way.
Okay, thank you. George.
I guess, fortunate or unfortunate, going to the farm, I miss out on a lot of rumors. So I'm lucky that way. But I don't really care for rumors. if I get into a position and people are talking rumors and they don't really have the facts, I ask them to think about it a little bit and get the facts before they go start spreading rumors. Whenever, being new at this, whenever something come up that I wasn't sure how to handle, I went out and talked to different community members. I went out and talked to businesses. What should we do about this? What's your opinion on this? Help guide me in the right direction. And that, to me, kind of slows down the rumors because you're out there talking to the public, not really telling them what's going on, just getting their opinion. And that seems to calm things down quite a bit. So mainly, you just need to stay calm and work through whatever problem comes up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ruben, same question for you.
Can I have you repeat it as well?
Okay. Does a city council member have a role to play in the community outside of council business? And with the number of rumors that are easily spread, like I said, rumors spread faster than facts. As a council member, do you have a role in addressing these rumors?
Okay. The first part of the question is there something that a city council member would have to be outside of city council business? Other than everybody knows who you are and everybody's always watching you? No. But you are under everybody's scrutiny. And to remember that. As far as rumors, I'm not a paid reporter. That's for the newspaper.
Okay. Ken?
Obviously, council people have to be out in public. Some things we find out a little research just by accident, just by getting out there. If you only sit behind a desk, I don't think you really know what's going on out in the real world out there. So sure, you have to go out there. And you have to have pride in your city, and people have to see that you care about the city, and just letting people know you and being friendly with them and let them bounce a few ideas off of you when you're out there. All those things are extremely good and helpful in making decisions. Rumor mongering isn't real friendly, I don't think, to anyone. But, you know, the reason that the rumors get started is that somebody or some people are frustrated about something. And sometimes if they can get a couple facts to calm them down, that's maybe good for everyone, rather than just letting them continue to go around spreading vicious rumors about somebody. So yeah, get out and do what you can for the city. I mean, that's an important thing to do.
Thank you.
I think as a city council person, you need to you represent the city and the citizens of this city, and I honestly believe that if you are doing your homework, doing your research, and when these rumors do come up, work with these people on them and find out, you know, where the rumor started, what as a council member can you do about this particular rumor. Getting back to just representing the city of Tracy and the people, and I think just listening to what they have to say. You know.
Okay, thank you. See, Rosemary's turn. Okay. I asked this question of the mayoral candidates as well. Several of our boards and commissions have had some negative press the last couple of years. Our elected officials have a performance evaluation by going through the election cycle. Appointed positions do not. Some of our appointed positions are 5-year terms. We have a commission that has basically a lifetime appointment. Should our commissions and board members have regular performance reviews? Why and why not? Or why not?
Okay. First off, we've had a lot of press about a lot of different things in our city. A lot of it, more of it has been positive than negative. So with that said, the negative press is not because the Board or Commission did anything wrong. It was because people on the board violated the city code or violated the bylaws of that commission, and therefore, after consultation with the chairman of that board and the city administrator, was not resolved, and so then it needed to go on further, which is regulated by state statute. The boards are reviewed when the mayor makes his appointment, and then reviewed again when the council makes the vote whether to appoint that person. When a person serves on a board, they take an oath that to the best of their ability, they will follow the bylaws of that board and follow the city council and uphold our Constitution of the United States. So I think we already have enough things in place. When something goes wrong, it is handled by the state statute.
Okay. George.
You're going to have to run that by me. She talked quite a bit there, and I got lost in it.
Okay. Our elected officials have performance evaluations via the electoral process. Appointed positions do not. Should our commissions and board members have regular performance reviews? Why or why not?
Well, I guess I don't really have a lot to add to that. I think I know most of these places are volunteer for no wage or anything, so they're spending their time, their personal time, to do the best they can what they think is for the city. So rather to have it a term limit or not, that's a tough one to ask. But in a small community like this, you need to lean on a lot of people to help do a lot of different things. And if they're willing to do it and they're doing it properly, I think that's just fine. Let them keep doing it.
Okay, so you don't support a regular review process?
You know, I don't know that that's really a big thing on my list.
Okay, thank you. Ruben?
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
Maybe go ahead and pass around, whether it be via newspaper or whether it be something along them lines, and have the public actually do a review, like a poll type of thing, as to how somebody is doing on not necessarily the person or maybe the board itself, not the personal position, but the board itself, on how they've performed, if they're actually living up to what you expect as a person in the community, as a citizen, or what you could add to that board as an idea of how they could live up to expectations by the citizens.
Okay, thank you. Ken?
In the school environment, we had a lot of committees in which we did a lot of teamwork, collaborating with each other for various purposes, and quite a few of them toward the last few years now, we established goals or objectives for a committee. And it wasn't necessarily the only thing we ever talked about, but it was 2 or 3 things that we kind of zeroed in on, and we wanted to make sure that we kind of accomplished those things during whatever time period we set to do those things in. And they were written out, and then we had each person in the committee write down how they would try to contribute to those goals or objectives. And when the evaluation time came around, it was kind of a self-evaluation in which every individual kind of explained what they did to try to accomplish those goals or objectives. And it really kept everybody working toward the end result, rather than arguing with each other or being divisive. We were kind of all on the same page, and we were all trying to accomplish it. And that was our evaluation process. And the superintendent only looked to see whether we actually did it or not. And we had quite a few people that were a lot more constructive that way than if we hadn't been doing that process. So that was a good thing for what I was involved in.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I'm going to have to go with George over there. It's a volunteer. First of all, it's a volunteer position on these boards, and to set and give these people a review. I'm not so sure that. And then on top of that, who does the review? Who does the? I'm not so sure that I would go along with that. I think at the beginning, and I'm not sure because I haven't been on these boards, but they must set goals, and them goals are. They go over those with the city administrator and possibly the council on these goals. So if these goals aren't being met, and then I think you probably would have to go back and review what's going on with the entire committee. But your chairperson probably could possibly review some of these volunteers on these committees and boards. So, but I'm not in favor of it, no.
Okay, thank you. Rhonda?
I'm not in favor of it because, like they say, it is a volunteer position, and each board and commission has their bylaws. They are governed by state statute, some of them. So if you start doing that, we have trouble now getting people to volunteer to do these things. And you start doing that, people are going to just say no, they don't even want to be involved.
Okay. I have one more question, but before I ask this question, do any of the candidates wish to ask any of the other candidates a question? Okay. All right. When I drive around the neighborhood and I've scoped out a few of your front lawns, you've made your political stances, your political affiliations pretty clearly known, including who you support for mayor. And so my question is to everybody, regardless of who was elected as mayor, will you fully support and work with whoever the mayor is? And I'm going to start with Ron.
Definitely.
No, this is my freelance question, sorry.
Yes. If elected to the board or the council, I would definitely work with the mayor and help he or she on whatever subject comes up or whatever the matter is at the time. So I definitely would.
Rhonda?
Yes, I definitely would. It doesn't do the city or the council any good if you're going to constantly argue and fight with the mayor or he or she. You need to work together to make it a more positive situation for Tracy and the residents.
Okay, Rosemary.
When the mayor's elected, it's the will of the people. And as a council person, you are to follow the will of the people and treat that person with respect and work with them and treat them like the leader that they've been elected to be.
Thank you. George?
Yes, I guess I agree with what everybody said. There's not a lot you can add to that. Whoever is the mayor, you don't work for them, you work for the city, the people of the city, but you need to work with the mayor to one common good.
Okay, Ruben.
I can't go against anything that's been said here at this point on this one, as much as I'd like to some days. No, seriously though, it is our responsibility to work with the mayor. It's also our responsibility to represent the community if the mayor is making a bad idea or a decision in something. If the community says, hey, I'm kind of questioning maybe what they're trying to do over here, to ask that mayor. And maybe we can resolve it without it actually being an issue. But then you can kind of figure out where they're going with a certain thing or that. But that's considered actually working with them. That's not objecting. That's working with them, but still representing the community that you live in, we live in, and we all work for.
Thank you. Ken?
I believe that both of the candidates for mayor have the city at heart. I believe both of them are people who are generally interested in getting the city to move forward. And I know both of them. I don't have a problem with either one of them. I think both of them are good people. And I don't have a lot to add to this either, but whoever the citizens of the town vote in for mayor is fine with me. So
Okay.
that's it.
Thank you. So I'm going to give each one of you one more chance to address the community any way that you would like. Any final thoughts that you have? And I think we're going to start backwards. We're going to go with Ken first.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now that I'm retired, I guess I can provide time to do research on projects and provide useful perspective on solutions. I believe my physics, chemistry, biology background is helpful in doing engineering projects, whether it's infrastructure or flood projects or things like that. I'm honest. I'm open-minded. I feel like I'm a fair person. I'm equitable to various residents in town. I don't have an axe to grind. I believe in teamwork. I think that that collaboration and working with the council and with the resident city is important. And I think I can be helpful to the city. And so I'm running, and I appreciate your vote.
Thank you. Ruben.
I've only been here 5 years. I'll say it again, or almost 5 years. Not long enough to make too many enemies, but there's a possibility I have. So whether you like me or not, honestly, I'll be fair with everybody. I will. I'll be your voice no matter who you are. In those 5 years, I haven't been here long enough to go ahead and be what may be considered a lifer or an old boy type mentality, or make strong friendships with anybody for favoritism either. I will have an open eyesight and willing to work with anybody on any issues that they have with whatever's going on in your community, from roads being driven down too fast, maybe an extra sign to be put in, that's a possibility, to I've had another guy on my campaign trail ask me about what I do about the airport out there. He's like, it needs a coat of paint on it. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I've heard there's talks of maybe putting in a new airport hangar. You know, depending on cost and whatnot, if there's a possibility to paint the place, if it doesn't need to be rebuilt or have a new one put in, paint it. Let's make some things attractive around here. Let's keep going forward. Vote for Ruben.
Thank you. George.
I got no shirt like that, I could tell you.
No?
He could probably give you one.
Yeah.
You want to vote for Ruben's shirt?
I think everybody that threw their name in the ring for running for council are good people, have Tracy at heart. I believe I do too, even though I came from Walnut Grove. Might be hard for some of you to believe, but I've lived here for 10 years. I've watched the city move forward, sometimes not as fast as it should, sometimes too fast. But I do think I can bring some common sense to the council, not that they need it. They have quite a bit already. But I'm hoping I could bring what it takes to help keep things going in the right direction and make Tracy a better place to live. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosemary.
Well, first again, I want to thank the Tracy Headlight Herald for putting this event on. My background as a mother and as an RN lends itself to some leadership roles. I can bring that to the council. I believe in ethical and transparent government. I would bring that to the council. I believe we need to embrace new ideas like the form-based zoning. I would bring that to the council. I believe we need to look outside the box. If you can't see it, you can't achieve it. So I would appreciate your vote on November 3rd, or early voting if you, whichever you choose. Thank you.
Thank you. Rhonda?
Well, I would really work hard for the residents of Tracy. And I would just appreciate your vote.
Well, I'm like Ken. I'm retired and I love it. So I've got plenty of time. I can research and check different things. I'd like to see the housing continue, the twin homes. Orchard Lane, I'd like to see expanded because we need more of that. At one time, we had 8 or 9 names on that list. I'd like to work with the trailer court, see what we can do there. Patio homes. One of my projects on my radar is the blight in town here. I want to see that taken care of, and that's what I'm going to push as a city council person. I just, Tracy is home. Let's work together. Let's get it done, and if people need help cleaning up things around town, hey, we're there, we're here, just ask us. A lot of times in towns like this, there are people out there that would love to volunteer. Let's ask those people, and appreciate your vote also. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you all for participating this evening, and again, there's 3 other members that could not be here, or 3 other candidates that could not be here this evening, so there's 9 people running for a limited number of positions, so unfortunately not everybody's going to get elected to the city council, but one of the reasons in bringing up the other commissions and boards is we have space for everybody within the city to do good on these councils and boards. So I encourage you to run hard for the city council, but don't let your guard down and keep looking for other ways that you can serve the community if you can't do it through the city council. Once again, thank you, everybody, and we'll probably do this 4 years from now. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where did you get that?
This one? Yeah. My wife.
Oh, that's right.
Ordered it or something, but yeah.
I forgot.
Pretty awesome, huh?